Open my microphone. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الرحمن الرحيم. مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم. صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. آمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. ضيوف الرحمن, the guest of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allahu Akbar. So we've reached that point in class where, subhanallah, we are now going to be looking at the days of Hajj, insha'Allah, thumma insha'Allah. But not just yet. Okay, so alhamdulillah, we're back in the hall, and that would be for this Saturday and insha'Allah next Saturday. And may we complete everything by next Saturday, so we won't need a further session. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. We did indicate to the class that we would want to finish by the 15th of Sha'ban, but we're somewhat finishing just a little bit after the 15th of Sha'ban. But I guess today would be a decent indication in terms of what you need to do for the 15th of Sha'ban. So first and foremost, subhanallah, I want to just beg your indulgence as the class with regards to us somewhat diverting away from the running series of events. What do I mean? So we covered our entry into Makkah al-Mukarramah. We somewhat went through Umrah. I know there may be a sense of you feeling it was somewhat rushed, like we didn't really do justice to Umrah. So two things we'll do. Number one, you'll add to your dua books for before Hajj that Allah gives us the opportunity of being together on your Umratul Islam or your Umrah of entry, Umratul Qudum, so that what we didn't do justice to in the class, we'll do justice to on the Mataf. Qul Ameen. Okay, good. Then the second is the aspects of Umrah, Tawaf, and Sa'i. We will cover again, insha'Allah, thumma insha'Allah, when we do the Tawaf of Hajj and the Sa'i of Hajj. All right? Okay, by show of hands, for those of you who are in the live in-person class, does the online do justice? Doesn't, right? So, okay, it's not bad, but it's, in my mind, it's nowhere as close to the in-person, right? And that's based on the hadith Jibreel we shared with you surrounding how Jibreel alayhi salam came to teach us many things, but from amongst them, we also learned as a secondary or tertiary or subsequent lesson, we learned how knowledge is imparted and how knowledge is shared. So that being said, we opted to somewhat diverge from the running series of events by rather utilizing the in-person class to now kick off the formal journey of Hajj. What's outstanding? So we completed Umrah, but we still have to spend some time in Makkah al-Mukarramah. Good. And from the time that we will spend in Makkah al-Mukarramah, we will have the 1st to the 7th of Dhul Hijjah. So call it the week that we spend in Azizia. So that may not be as juicy as the actual days of Hajj. So we park that for our midweek connect this week, right? So in terms of how you're taking notes and how you're orienting your mind, just appreciate that today's class is somewhat fast forward into the days of Hajj because it's an in-person class. And inshallah, on Wednesday, we'll rewind to our stay in Makkah to Mukarramah. We'll complete the first 7 days of Dhul Hijjah, and then this will slot in, right? So when we share the links beyond Wednesday, I'll somewhat rearrange them, but just for those of us who are attending either in person or online today to appreciate that that's the sequence of events. And inshallah, may you find it in your hearts to overlook our shortcomings and our misgivings in terms of maybe somewhat confusing you. Good. So we need to do a check-in, brothers and sisters. That's why I came down, from the stage, so that I could be on ground level with the masses, with the people. What do you want to speak about in the check-in? We did a poll this week. Ya Allah, Ya Allah. I cannot believe that for all the people registered for the class, you find it difficult to indicate which operator you're traveling with? Really? How, subhanAllah, are we going to be able to maximize and extract the true value from Hajj if we are unresponsive? So I know I may be somewhat preaching to the choir, as they would say, but really it hurts my heart. Normally, if we were engaged and invested in our class and by extension our Hajj, like that was an easy poll, right? That's not giving anything that's very private and confidential and secret surrounding yourself by indicating which operator you're traveling with. Anyway, subhanallah, in the coming week, we'll be doing more intrusive check-ins on the homework and on a few other things. So just a quick recap, subhanallah, in terms of our pieces of homework. We have forgiveness that's in flight. This exercise, based on when it was given to you, you should round up before Ramadan, because beyond Ramadan or into Ramadan, it doesn't have much value, right? Because we won't be fasting every day, continuously, successively, consecutively in Madinatul Munawwara and Makkah al-Mukarramah. So by the time you hit the end of the month of Sha'ban, you should have wrapped up this exercise. You have a good idea of what your personal consumption is per day in terms of snacks and drinks and everything else. And that informs, subhanAllah, how you pack your luggage with regards to the amount of snacks, etc., you're going to carry with you on Hajj. Okay, this, I'm sure, inshallah, even those who don't respond to polls, they have this underway, which is Durood and Salawat upon Habibuna Mustafa Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So from Quran, there were two pieces that were given to you, Surah Ibrahim and Surah Hajj, as two complete surah, plural of surah, that you should at minimum read and interrogate, at minimum read the translation, and beyond that, subhanAllah, interrogate the translation. And commentaries on this. Alhamdulillah, we received some wow responses from a few in the class indicating that this has allowed them to connect with the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And even if Allah doesn't give us life till Hajj, that alone is something that will weigh heavily, not just on that individual's scale, but inshallah on all of our scales on Yawmul Qiyamah. Amin ya Rabbil Alameen. Coupled with this, naturally, would be the verses from Surah Baqarah that speak about Hajj and any other references that you find in Hajj. I want to remind you a few times over today, and I'll take this as the first opportunity, brothers and sisters, after this morning's, because we'll end by Dhuhr, inshallah, after this morning session, I do see a need for you to revisit the link surrounding a selection of ayat related to Hajj. So, we did one of the classes. Some of you were in attendance. Others had joined a little bit after that, but we have shared the links with you. So even if you don't give too much attention to the finance stuff, etc., I would really want you, subhanAllah, to revisit the links surrounding a selection of ayat related to Hajj. Because unfortunately, between this Saturday and next Saturday in the two sessions, the two in-person sessions that remain, we don't have the time to unpack all of those ayat again. So at times I may just drop a reference to say, oh, we covered this verse, but for the verse to be meaningful, you would need to go through that session again, right? So start streaming that link beyond today's class. Inshallah, even if you can do a little bit of it before Wednesday, and inshallah, let's turn our flashlight off there. Otherwise, the battery is going to get eaten up. Good. And then if you get through streaming the entire session surrounding the verses of Hajj, once we complete next week Saturday's class, do it again. And inshallah, you'll find a lot more depth in terms of what you extract from today's class and from next week Saturday's class. Good. I'm sure this is very much underway in terms of gathering the du'as. Allahu Akbar. This morning in one of my classes, may Allah reward the student. It's an elderly person. She reminded me that based on yesterday's Jum'ah khutbah, speaking about how Habibuna Mustafa Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam had mentioned to us that one of the reasons for him fasting excessively in the month of Sha'ban is because he didn't want us to be neglectful of this great month, sandwiched between Rajab, which has its auspiciousness, and Ramadan, which has its auspiciousness, as referenced in ayat of Quran, both of them, and as referenced in ahadith that comment on those ayat. Just by show of hands, it's not any hard or fasting. Anyone managed to listen to the audio from yesterday's Jum'ah? Alhamdulillah. Good. So, brothers and sisters, we drop those audios not because there's an opportunity for you to like and share, right? It's not on broad-based social media. So we drop it trying to keep our own hearts clean, but we drop it because there's gems for you in it. Good. In keeping with that, the student, subhanAllah, of mine, as I mentioned, an elderly sister, she reminded me this morning after Fajr, please, Abdurrahman, can you reshare the snippets that we had produced in Ramadan 2022 and 2023? And I'm hoping the team is taking note, because in Ramadan, there may not be time to revisit them. So what were these snippets? We did a series on some of the du'as of the Anbiya alayhimus salam as captured in Quran. In the moment she said this, it made so much of sense. So we're talking about gathering the du'as. So inshallah, thumma inshallah, we'll dig that up and we'll try and share one a day. It's short clips, not more than 5 minutes each. Inshallah, if you go through those, one is you learn a little bit surrounding Quran, which will add value to your Ramadan. Another is you will pick up a whole string of Quranic du'as. You could pick that up by just searching du'as from Quran or du'as of Anbiya, but now it will have depth because there's a little bit of context given to each of those ad'iyah, plural of du'a. So inshallah, we'll share that with you over the successive days. So we have work as well, homework as well. Right, and then the last piece of homework given to you, subhanAllah, in the last in-person class was to read an entire seerah, or the previous in-person class was to read an entire seerah of Habibuna Mustafa Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Just by show of hands, who's undertaken this already, even if you're not complete yet? Alhamdulillah, thumma alhamdulillah. Reading that seerah and coming to the point of where, so to introduce today's class somewhat before we get to the actual content, reading that seerah and coming to the point in that seerah where Habibuna Mustafa Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam actually embarks on Hajj, subhanAllah, will add a very different spin to your appreciation of today's class. So if you haven't come to that point in the seerah yet, no issues. When you do come to that point, then maybe you will have to revisit the link surrounding today's class, because a lot more things will inshallah make sense then. There's also going to be an addition to homework piece number 4 surrounding the surah of Quran, plural of surah, that you need to check up in terms of the translation and a little bit of the commentary that's going to come through today, subhanallah, in today's class. What am I speaking about? We're going to give you the drops in terms of ayat of Quran or surah of Quran that were revealed during the Hajj of Habibuna Mustafa Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Which means what? You're going to be sitting either in Mina, mostly in Mina. You're going to be sitting in Mina either before Arafah or after Arafah. And you will know fully well that this surah of Quran was revealed on this evening. So when everyone else perhaps says something like, the first day in Mina, there's not much to do except make 5 salah. You understand the difference? You'll have a portion of Quran that you're going to go and sit and read the translation in Mina, knowing that subhanallah, when Habibuna Mustafa Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was here 1400 and so many years ago, these verses were revealed to him right here where I'm sitting. Allahu Akbar. Good. So current and forthcoming attractions, right? As usual, before we get to the content of Hajj, we have a little bit of qada. So on Wednesday evening, we didn't manage to complete like about 4 slides, right? So I'm doing 2 things in the next slide. I'm somewhat summarizing, as we normally do at the beginning of each class, right? We're somewhat summarizing the previous class, and we're dispensing of the few slides that we didn't complete, subhanallah, on Wednesday evening. So Wednesday evening was like already qada from the previous class. Now this is qada upon qada. I'm sure this is like wajib squared or something, right? Good, if you appreciate from the fiqh perspective. So what didn't we cover at the backdrop of having completed our Umrah, we didn't cover the ziyarat in Makkah al-Mukarramah. Now, the ziyarat in Makkah al-Mukarramah are a little bit different. I'm talking about what's normally available to the Hujjaj in terms of included in your package, etc. It's a little bit nuanced to Madinatul Munawwara. In Madinatul Munawwara, you're visiting many historical sites. We somewhat unpack them. We gave you a structure of what to look for and what to look out for, and subhanAllah, what to aim for on each of the particular days of the week. In Makkah al-Mukarramah, there are many places of historical significance, but you somewhat give a lot more preference. How do we spend our time in Makkah al-Mukarramah? You give a lot more preference to tawaf than you give to ziyarat. So doesn't mean you don't do any ziyarat. It means that in terms of your allocation of time per day and then per week, you make sure that a good 70, 80% of your time, other than salah in your 1 hour before, in your half an hour after, whatever available time there is given to tawaf, right? And then maybe a 20% of time given to ziyarat, which means they would normally do one bus ziyarah in Makkah al-Mukarramah, and if you're really lucky, based on the sheer numbers of the groups, of the Hujjaj in each of the groups, inshallah, maybe they will do a walking ziyarah as well. So summarize all of the ziyarat. Good. I hope you beginning to take notes. Where is that pointer? You're beginning to take notes, subhanAllah, of a few things in this particular picture. The first of them would be what? Anyone know? What can you see? The top right-hand corner. Me. More important, you see me like right in front of you live. So what's more important in the picture? The day pack. Good. We had this magical thing here. If I use this, then everyone can. Let's try that. Works. Oh, excellent. Okay, so subhanAllah, the day pack, right? So it's the day pack that has naturally the bladder within it that makes it, subhanAllah, possible for you to always have a supply of water as well as a supply of nutrition. What time of the day is this? Guesses? A little bit before Maghrib. Okay, that's not the time you will be there. Just it's here to drive home, subhanAllah, a little bit of a point in terms of the importance, the relevance, the significance of this particular ziyarah place. You will be there sometime in the evening. We'll get there just now. Okay, next picture. What time of the day? Maghrib. You can see the lights at the haram. Oh, this one. So you can see some of the lights there in the distance. Brothers, can you see here at the bottom of the picture? What do you see here in this crevice between the two rocks? Anyone able to take note? Is it that small? Okay, let me move the pointer a bit up. Hajj Ibrahim should know because he tested them this morning. It's my Hajj shoes. Single pair of shoes for the entire trip, applicable for every application. Right, it's here in the crevice where the pointer is now. I'll move the pointer above it, right? And would want the brothers to kind of test this out in the break, etc., etc. So everything from climbing the mountain to being in a haram, to flying on the plane, to going to the bathroom, to going up and down to the haram, one pair of shoes, right? So we choose all of our gear in that sense, and that's why we also have some, some exhibits that inshallah we'll exhibit to you a little bit later. Okay, so Maghrib, right? Hajj Dawood, if you can just get in touch with Ridwan. I think he has some difficulty getting it. Okay. Okay, what time of the day? Risha? Good. What time of the day? The Hajj Adhan. Why am I sharing this? The significance, the symbolism, subhanallah, of just one single ziyarah place in Makkah al-Mukarramah, which is which place? Jabal Nur, Cave of Hira. Understand? I also shared with you some wonderful tips here Everyone's scrambling for, because I don't really show you where is the cave of Hira in any of these pictures. Everyone's scrambling for the cave. Where am I? For those who've been, just a little bit above the cave. See a flat piece where you can sit and make ibadah, literally for hours on end. Good? Yes. So you can. Yes. You can. There's a new, call it exhibition park, museum that they've somewhat created. For those who've been before, you don't use that route anymore. That route is now sealed off. It's a much longer route, but a less steep route. So just prepare yourself mentally for that. Okay, so wanted to drive home the point surrounding your ziyarah in Makkah al-Mukarramah being a few places, even though there's many, because many of those that were there are no longer there. This is one, subhanAllah, that's still very easily accessible. It requires some physical exertion. For those of you who are going for Hajj 6 weeks, I would encourage that in your first week that you are in Makkah al-Mukarramah, as an option, you consider, subhanAllah, climbing Jabal Nur. Why? Because in your first week in Makkah al-Mukarramah, you would be experiencing what? You would be experiencing the white days, right? Ayyamul Bid, which are the white days, 13th, 14th, and 15th of the Hijri month, which means what? Those in Madinatul Munawwara on the 5 weeks package, what are you doing? You're getting iftar Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We discussed this, right? Okay, good. So those in Makkah al-Mukarramah, you may not be fasting because it's relatively hotter and more humid, etc., etc. But one of the evenings, early hours of the morning, you most probably would consider climbing on the basis of what's the link with Ayyamul Bid and the white days. The secret is in white. The hint is in white. Full moon, which is the best time to climb. Understand? Because you have the most natural light. Good. Why at this point of time you have enough time to, subhanallah, recuperate before Hajj, because there's some physical exertion here. So 6 weeks, this may be an option. Naturally, the more universal options are on the backdrop of Hajj, because you have a few days after Hajj that you remain in Makkah al-Mukarramah before you return home. And now there's less risk. So if you sprain an ankle or do this or that or whatever else, Allah forbid, subhanallah, then it doesn't jeopardize your Hajj. Good. Other than Jabal Nur as a place that you will visit on ziyarah, and naturally they will point out a few masajid on the bus ziyarah, etc., etc. They will also take you past Jabal Nur. The core thrust of your ziyarah in Makkah al-Mukarramah are the places of Hajj. So, okay, we jumped on the bus and we went for ziyarah. So 2 people in the same travel group, subhanallah, went on the same ziyarah on the same day. They were just on 2 buses. One person extracted tremendous benefit and the other person just went sightseeing. What's the difference? The difference is how the guide positions the ziyarah. The buses are driving literally behind each other. So the one pulls into Arafah and he says, okay, Hujjaj, this is Arafah. Look to your right, look to your left. You know, this is Arafah, there's Masjid Namira, there's Jabal Rahma, etc., etc. The names are not familiar to you, don't become perplexed or anxious. When you read the seerah, you'll be able to join the dots. Good. Whilst the other guide on, let's say, the second bus says, okay, Hujjaj, I want you to look to your right and your left, and you see that there are big yellow signboards with black borders, and the boards say Arafah starts here. What is the difference in terms of the 2 guides? The one is utilizing the ziyarah to orient you with the places of Hajj, which you are going to encounter on the days of Hajj. So he's pointing out everything that even the people on the first bus are seeing, but you know no better as someone who's not been there. Even if you've been on ziyarah and umrah to the places of Hajj, your ziyarah in Makkah al-Mukarramah by bus to the places of Hajj is nuanced differently. Because the objective of the ziyarah on the bus ziyarah in Makkah al-Mukarramah for those on the trip of Hajj is to acquaint you with, subhanallah, all the landmarks. Landmarks doesn't mean, oh, this is Muzdalifah, that's Arafah. No, all the small nitty-gritty things that allow you to navigate in the mashair, in the places of Hajj, know how to read. You'll say, simple, I can read English. Know how to read road signs, know how to read traffic flows, know how to read, subhanAllah, all of these things that literally are a game changer on the days of Hajj. So this one slide is a synopsis of how time is spent in Makkah al-Mukarramah, hoping that inshallah, add it to your dua list Allah bless you all with guides on your bus ziyarah in Makkah al-Mukarramah who will utilize the bus ziyarah to familiarize you, inshallah, with what you need to know when you see various things, signboards, lookout towers, information kiosks, mobile clinics, polyclinics on the days of Hajj. Happy? Very happy. Good. So now fast forward. Remember, Wednesday we have another drop. So Wednesday's drop is what? The 1st to the 7th of Dhul Hijjah. So on Wednesday, we're going to look at each particular day in Hajj 1446. So it's not just, oh, Abdurrahman, go dust off your presentation from 1443, 1442, whatever else. Press replay or change the slide backgrounds and the fonts and come and share it with us. Why? Because we have the intersection of what? The Hijri date with a different day of the week. So the 8th of Dhul Hijjah, as an example, previously or in previous years, subhanAllah, as the first day of Hajj, would most probably, oops, let's go one back, would most probably not have been on the same day of the week, not most probably, most definitely, not on the same day of the week as the previous year or 2 years back or 3 years back. So if someone set a class, subhanAllah, 3 years ago, and they're like, yeah, the stuff's available on YouTube. If I search Abdurrahman Layli, maybe somewhere there, or At-Ta'li, if I subscribe to the channel, I'll find it. I can stream previous year's links, and then I'm good. No, you're not good. Because there's a nuance to various things, subhanAllah, in terms of how we have the overlap of the Hijri date with the day of the week. So that's what we hope to share with you, inshallah, on Wednesday evening. Why not today? Because we said we want to use the in-person class, and this I'm repeating for the benefit of those who arrived a little bit late. We want to use the in-person class to do the juicy bits, which is the days of Hajj, and then, relatively speaking, the not so juicy bits. They're very juicy, subhanAllah. It's the 10 most consecutive days in the Hijri calendar. We want to park that for the online class. So are you ready to go on Hajj, brothers and sisters? Inshallah. Okay, where's your armbands? Good. So you are going to look, subhanAllah, not in a negative sense, you're going to look like an animal in what? In a kraal of livestock. Understand? That has tags on their ears. You won't have tags on their ears. All right. But you're going to have so many armbands. Literally, you're going to think like, what is the point? Can't these people consolidate all of that? Somewhat they have. So first armband would be the one we showed you in the picture. Remember destination Makkah, the one with the haram, the his and hers. Cool. So that's the armband that you got issued when you came into Makkah al-Mukarramah, and that tracked you to the service office within the Muassasa, the service providers for African non-Arabic speaking pilgrims. Oops. One armband. All right. In the evenings, why am I doing this now? Because this would be covered on the 7th, but I have to share with you the context because we're parking that to Wednesday evening. In the evening prior, normally happens at that time and not any earlier. In the evening prior, they would give you a second armband. And this armband, subhanAllah, would say that you are in Camp D. Anyone doing Camp A here? All intelligent human beings, mashallah. All right, so in Camp D, because that's what we subscribe to. All right, there would be some contact numbers, etc. Second armband. Is that all? No. Third armband is the armband that will be issued to you from South to say that you are, subhanAllah, making Hajj as one of the pilgrims who's been issued a visa via the South quota. If you don't have all three armbands, you ain't going to be allowed into the camp. So the first one we got when we entered Makkah. The second two, we most probably, subhanAllah, got the evening before we departed for Hajj. Right? Yeah, it's a lot, eh? We have like armband and armband. You'll think you're going like to some fair or some concert or something. Trust me, it's really quite a wonderful live act that's going to unplay over the next 6 days. All right, so the same as we discussed with the first armband, make sure it's not too tight, etc. And different officials are looking out for different armbands. So when you're walking in Azizia and a plainclothes policeman male or female, police person, male or female, stops you, Assalamu alaikum, Hajj, and they greet you with their hands, or they put their, naturally same gender, they put their hand on your shoulder and they ask you for an armband. They want to see a particular armband, which would normally be the one that says that you're on Hajj, so the one that the Muassasa gave you when you entered Makkah al-Mukarramah. When you come into Mina and you are about to enter your camp, then the official there is looking for what? The official is looking for the, okay? And then when you're walking around in the camp, one of the Sahuk volunteers, subhanallah, asks a question because maybe there's a shortage of mattresses or something. Okay, everyone, please take out your armbands. They're looking for a different armband. So just make sure that you're able to exhibit all of these fancy armbands at any given time. They will look for the relevant one. Coupled to this, you will also have your nusuk card, right? So you're going to get a nusuk card somewhere during your stay in Makkah al-Mukarramah. What's the process? So you enter Makkah al-Mukarramah as we did with Umrah, and within a few days, subhanAllah, a nusuk card is issued to you. Naturally, it has a 3D hologram on it, etc., barcode, all of that. And that card needs to be kept on your physical person. So they have a point of sales device. They scan the card. It gives them all the details, visa number, nationality, age, medical conditions, blah, blah, blah. That's why when you ask to furnish information, as you have already been asked in your registration application to travel with your operator, please furnish complete information. Right? So when we did Madinatul Munawwara, I showed you those Indonesian buses track and trace. Now, mashallah, you are the luggage, right? So they track and trace you via these pieces of identification. So you're going to have this nusuk card. You don't have a nusuk card walking on the streets of Azizia, get locked up. Fine, deportation. If you think I'm just telling you scary stories and you watch the news feeds over the last few days, what has happened to people from certain nationalities in terms of their countries being eligible for 1 year multiple entry tourist visas? Cancelled. Pakistan, no more 1 year multiple entry tourist visas. Nigeria, no more 1 year entry, multiple entry tourist visas. Why? Because all the so-called unauthorized, to be very careful of my choice of words because Quran says something, the unauthorized Hajj who were on Hajj last year, more than 1,300 who passed because of heat exhaustion, not because it's that hot, because they walked tens of kilometers to try and get into the places of Hajj because it's manned, even though it's a very big open area, right? Or it's staffed or policed. They passed because of heat of exhaustion, trying to get into the places of Hajj. So when the nationalities of those individuals were identified, naturally 30, 40, 80 from any particular nationality, we cancel multiple entry visas for those people because they would have come into Saudi Arabia on tourist multiple entry visas a good few weeks before Hajj and then kind of lied in sleeper cells somewhere in Makkah al-Mukarramah and then resurfaced on the day of Hajj, on the first day of Hajj, the 8th of Dhul Hijjah, thinking we're going to be able to get into Mina / Arafah, etc. But that didn't happen. So treat this identification with the somewhat respect that it deserves, appreciating that it's not anyone limiting people from responding to the call of Ibrahim alayhi salam, but it's a means of facilitating for you to have a seamless, comfortable, managed Hajj. And inshallah, thumma inshallah, within the next 6 years, they will be able to cater for double the number, if not more, than those who are with you on Hajj this year. So when you see the crowds and you're like, wow, I've never seen so much people in my life, it's going to be double that in 6 years. And beyond that, subhanAllah, will keep increasing in multiples as the years go by. Okay, we ready to go for Hajj now? Ready? Okay, so let's hope this works, inshallah, thumma inshallah. Let's go. Okay. So class, subhanallah, I hope you were looking at the subtitles because certain things are best expressed, subhanallah, in the language of Jannah, in the language of Quran, in the language that inshallah you will all speak when eventually you enter Jannatul Firdaus, albeit that we don't understand it and comprehend it and have a grasp over it just yet. But inshallah, we can add that to our dua list, that one of our aspirations is to be able to understand Quran in the language in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed Quran. Because anything other than Quran in the Arabic language is not Quran. It's a translation of Quran. So there's an element of human intervention somewhat. Understand? So it's not the pure thing. It's just an opportunity for us to get an idea and an insight in terms of what the pure thing is. All right. So by show of hands, don't be shy in the least. Appreciating, other than maybe one or two of us in class, most of us have not made our Fard Hajj yet. How many of us, in terms of this short video of just under 3 minutes, how many of us appreciated each image? So we knew, okay, cool, this is here in the process of Hajj. This is where they're going. This is what they're doing. Verse, how many of us appreciated that completely? Okay, let's ask the other question. How many of us had some idea of what some of the images represented, but by and large, we didn't know where exactly we are in the journey? Raise your hands. Come up, sisters. You're looking for third options. Are these the people who don't respond to the polls? I'm joking. So subhanAllah, either, number one, confidently, I know if I had to pause the video here, this is where they are on Hajj. No one raised their hands. Number two, some of the places I could make out, others I wasn't sure. So if you were not sure, please raise your hands, both brothers and sisters. Lovely. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to replay the video, right? And try, appreciating it's a 3-minute video, and try and give you running commentary through the video so that you appreciate each of the different places. Good. I really have to hold myself back because, you know, in Afrikaans-speaking communities, they have what they call Imam Long Tong. Let's try. Go on back. Bismillah, here goes. Okay, so this is your entry to Makkah al-Mukarramah. Labbaik Allahumma labbaik. Oh Allah, I'm present. These are now the Hujjaj, subhanAllah, who are walking towards the Haram, spending time in the Haram during the stay in Makkah al-Mukarramah. For some, it's linked to the Hajj, right? Because they make Hajj and Umrah all in one ihram. Okay, this is a gentleman, he's in Sa'i. This shows you what Sa'i is. Naturally, you can see a mix of people in ihram and out of ihram. That's changed somewhat. Now, we done the ihram for Hajj. Where are these people? They are walking from Makkah al-Mukarramah towards Mina. It's the first day. You can see, subhanAllah, they really have their verve and enthusiasm and zeal and their strength, and they're not worn out, etc. They're walking confident, happy, and subhanAllah, it's interspaced with pictures of people making dua. This is now in the walking tunnel as you're about to come towards the rear of the Jamarat, the very closest end of Mina to Makkah al-Mukarramah. Now they are in Mina, the tent city, and naturally have to navigate Mina, which is huge, to be able to get to their actual camps, right? The visual of the radio there is naturally all the logistical support that's provided. Okay, at this time, on the first day, there's still people completing their Umrah. This is why it's called Yawm al-Tarwiyah. We'll cover that just now. That's why the visual of the person being handed Zamzam. What is this? This is an address. So that short picture, an address to prepare people for Hajj. For what? For this day, which is Arafah, right? That's Jabal Rahmah. And you can see all the people with their umbrellas. Naturally, they bring in some of the older visuals once again. That's the Jamarat complex. Okay, we're done with Arafah. Now you'll see that the visuals move between few things. We spent the night at Muzdalifah. Naturally, they've pelted at the Jamarat. Come back to Arafah. It's a journey of dua. Throughout the journey, subhanAllah, there's opportunities of you making dua. That's why you're preparing so much in terms of your duas that you are physically writing down. You'll say, but why don't I see all of them with books? The duas are rehearsed. They know them. They're not winging it. They very much, irrespective of male, female, young, old, black, white, they're very much in touch with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the night at Muzdalifah. Naturally, they're observing Maghrib and Isha. And you would also see one of the visuals just now. There's the gentleman, he's picking pebbles. This is, subhanAllah, the masjid there in Mash'ar al-Haram in Muzdalifah the next morning. And for the rest of the days, one of the very big ibadat are the Jamarats. This tunnel for Brother Ibrahim, who made Hajj before, would be the tunnel that they used after completing Tawaf and Sa'i to get back to Mina. What they illustrating in that particular image is the patience you will need to have by virtue of the crowding. Otherwise, you'll end up with stampedes. Even though Arafah is complete, what do you see in the visuals? People are continuously doing what? They are making dua. So it's a journey of dua. Here we turn back and realize that everything we do is in keeping with the teaching and the sunnah of Habibuna Mustafa Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This, the haram, busy on all levels. Ground, basement, mezzanine, first, second, third, etc. So there's some people doing the tawaf and sa'i of Hajj. There's others who are busy pelting, and there's others who, subhanAllah, will be making other ibadah. Whatever you're doing, you plundering from Allah's unlimited treasures. Okay, so we go back there, few visuals of Arafah. Now you can see majority of the people are wearing what type of clothing? Plain clothing. So we're out of ihram, right? We spend the remaining 3 days in our case because we got lots of time. We spend the remaining 3 days in Mina, in plain clothes, and we give lots of emphasis, subhanAllah, to adhkar, to ibadah, to tilawa, and most importantly, once a day, we go to make Rami Jamarat. Did that help a little bit? Some people are looking like it's 11:45 already, popping their heads up with their hands. Very tired. Okay, so we're all good, class? Here, let's go. We have our armbands on. Now we need to march to Mina. Okay, let me restrain myself somewhat. Good. So for this Saturday and next Saturday, you're continuously going to see this infograph. Don't worry about the facts and figures and how many males and females and how many people were on Hajj. That's from a couple of years ago. For me, this, subhanAllah, serves as one of the better illustrations as a single infograph. Paparazzis, huh? As a single infograph that covers the different stations that you will be on in Hajj. And if someone is thinking he didn't check over the last 2 or 3 years for a new infograph, none of them quite cut it, right? For a number of reasons. This one still does it. Good. So point of entry, which we saw early in the video, crossing the miqat, coming into Makkah al-Mukarramah in Ihram, completing our tawaf, completing our sa'i. I use this one because it doesn't say Umrah and release from Ihram, or it doesn't say remain in Ihram. So it's kind of more universal in terms of covering both Hajj Tamattu', which all of you inevitably will do, or most of you will do, as well as Hajj Ifrad. Yes, all right? Or Hajj Qiran. Good. No one really here going to be doing Ifrad. Good. Fourth station, departure to Mina. So that's where we are. I'll continuously bring up the same slide over the next 2 sessions, meaning this Saturday and next Saturday, because I just want us to contextualize where we are in the journey. So today, in this next section now, we're going to be departing for Mina, getting to Mina, being based at Mina. Lovely. Now we're ready to go for Hajj. All right, so moving away for the online participants, Samihna will really do our very best, but I need to move, subhanAllah, to the exhibit. So I may be somewhat off camera. They'll try and read this differently. How do I do this? Do I take my laptop with me there so that the online participants can see? Or do they jump in their cars and drive to the venue as soon as possible? Whichever one. Fine. So brothers and sisters, what do we take in our classroom? What is the approach we take for it? Some of you have already taken the classes that will do the now. Yes, you know, online, but you think of the classes running, taking to around your class, few classes, actually, EWF, they had a whole range of classes, the takeout class, the regular, the Shakti class, there's a class taking place right now with the and program of the it's more audio class, video class, Yusra, Islamic degree, classes via Zoom, it's also just audio, it isn't video. Okay, good alhamdulillah. They may not have got this far in the process in terms of the classes this year. People a lot of them still sound in our market. When we see what people around, what they do, right? All of that. And as it is happening, what happens, we take out. That's slowly we believe it. Good. So they may not be this far in the process. So I'm going to share this with you. And when you go through the presentation, and you also set the other class with you, the encourage is I'm not saying anything that you do. you will come to the realization why this makes sense. And some other approaches are maybe not the most popular. On the day when we go to Mina, we take everything that we're going to require for the sustainable. This, subhanAllah, is a little bit of a different for South Africa. Other people will work with this. For us, it's a little different because the way that's presented to you by virtue of South African operators and South African classes is no. You go to Mina, you spend the day in Mina, you go to Arafah, spend the night in Muzdalifah. After you felt that you are ready to go back, we don't. That makes you walk at least 7 to 10 kilometers more unnecessarily. Where in the day, now you see, I still got half of the days of Hajj left. Do I need to subject myself to walking 7 to 10 kilometers in the heat unnecessarily? For what reason? Let me do. For the reason that I want a weekend water shower with 4 times in the day. That's all it is. Now, we will. If you can look out, and you still feel after the experience that you need a brief and water shower with 4 times in the world. Now, we must couple of steps in. Understand? So we take everything that we require for the 6 days of Hajj with us. For very exaggerated illustration, it means that I need to have this much of not that you do. And so when I walk to Mina with my friend there, people are waiting around me for the next day. Like I said, I'm over exaggerating. So what exactly do we do? Some of you, this is like usually you love this whole way, This is not really extra this and extra that, and some of the questions that they do on the hashtag that we can take those sorts of things about. You want to see the bottom? In holiday season, you don't service the bathrooms. You go on staycation to hotels in Rosebank and Sancton because we're too lazy to clean up behind ourselves. But now in your Hajj, you want to get Mrs. May. And say, back in the middle of yourself. Think about it. Am I right in terms of what I'm saying? Trust me, I think I have my finger on the pulse of the society. Why do we go on staycation? Because Auntie Elizabeth is gone. Yeah. But now I'm actually going to keep bottles. No. Understand? So, if you're going to be taking the domestos and the gloves, what was our philosophy? Philosophy is around haram. I can't violate my haram and consider that to be righteousness. Can we be gloves in haram? So, what do you do? Violating the haram and considering purity. Oh, mashallah, I will feel more oil than the person who didn't use domestos in the bathroom with the dollar of If you're going to be doing the technology of domestos, then you need this too. Okay, you don't need this figure, right? What do you need? Alright. At every given time, throughout our doing what gear do we need? We said there is one piece of gear that's never separated from it. Mashallah, I'm speaking you here. It's what? Yes, okay. So, power cable, extra and power cable. And it's just a plain necessity. Naturally, you're not going to have a passport in this back. Great degree, let's see what we can draw out from here. Right, so this is going to be like all my person all of that. Okay? Power cable. Why? We know why. We discussed. All there. Let's see what we get. Now I'm actually on the journey of it. This is a very small one. Like I said, yours will be 85, the brown, etc. Mine says, it always started Riyadh and Nishat Muhammad, next journal, 1444 So what's the equivalent of this read? Those 2 volumes of your Du'as. Not your notes. On the days of Hajj, not referring to your notes, you know the stuff. The only thing you can is your du'as. When I say du'as, Christianity, for those who are learning the class for the first time, not the printed ones you buy from Al-Hijab and Savants and Taj printers in Durban and IG Hussein and Ziyarat community. The du'as that you wrote or books that you wrote, where is it? In the second. That means even if I lose my day back, I'm not going to stop. My boss will look me follow. Good. People are making less than they will share on WhatsApp. Don't you? Okay. So you want. What is my going to ask the question? Can I use the question? You know the answer, right? You know the answer. You ready to do this? Can you use a toothbrush without toothpaste? No, listen. Good. What do you use the toothbrush? Yeah. I want to know this one all the time, so I don't read for this. No, it's not good. This. So you don't necessarily need. And how long is the chance for you to practice? What do you think that you are recognize this, just before the start? Okay, back. Miswak toothpaste is just a different flavor. Is that flavor naturally expected from miswak stick? No, it's clinically or naturally produced. It's the new or this flavor. Oh, I have some of these. One, huh? It's two, and it's very beautiful. Unless you, that's why the thing is to your home doesn't last more than 5 years, you really do this. Good. Okay. So subhanAllah, better is, this one is talked about, better than that, what I normally carry subhanAllah, in a small thing, it cut away the day, that's not to be in my sleep, in my day, but clothes. 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 Clothes that you rather than what clothes. I asked them what shade they want. Okay, what is the most challenging thing from a training perspective in one is hunger? What is the big source of inequality? Now you take all of that. So clothes. What was the approach in terms of here? Universal, multi-faceted. Understand? So clothes will cover the wardrobe. Toothache, throat, one cell. Yes. Use. No. I don't know what the definition is. We try to, as best as possible, not somewhat walk on the gray line. Good. Oh. The Umrah with the partner with the partner with the Umrah. You want to say that? What do we do? The partner says, let's say it's a principle. So we talk about it for students of mine, see what to do, not to what to do, go about the books, but a lot. The whole of the understanding of the Islam can be summarized into subhanAllah and the so we reverse engineer everything that you learn from the rules surrounding water, stagnant water, etc., all the way to wudu and usul and salah and fasting and zakat and hajj, and everything else surrounding marriage and nafaqa and maintenance and custody, whatever aspect of thing you learn and you touch on in your life and you experience in your life. We reverse engineer all of that to come out of about 100, let's take the bigger one, 110. So the faqih, the jurist, in the Islamic tradition can deal with any situation. بقدر الله. So the original gains done, and I told out my charging block for 5, 4, 3, 15 months will stop you from charging anymore. And the guy was facilitating for all of me. He said, he must be the person. All right, anything else that I was saying? Oh wow, this was for Umrah. We don't believe in this for Hajj, it's activity in the other way. But others, we can't do the Haram. Let me tell you, just stop. Okay, what else do you think is missing? Actually, I spoke about the Quran. In here is some type of we know about this, like a couple of parts. More than one. Four, nine. Yes, over. Someone, we ask. Do you notice what happened? I was able to take out the money from my seeing where you're probably into the sea. What does it say? They are going to be plans and it's not going to be that. So, and in Surah of Man, yeah, everyone understand and encourage us to believe in the Sarah of Iman. Brothers, this Surah is really myself. You know the one is which is Surah of Iman? Surah of An and Surah of Allah. It's not because the Imam doesn't know the Quran, there's only one it's because it's a that's why they say Surah. And similarly, in the one of the ayat becomes meaning like this. One of the ayat becomes one and one gives a description in Surah Al-Ghashiyah of the people of Jannah, which are the people of once and what they will become from Jannah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and by the prophets correcting things. What do we learn from the verse? There is generally prophets, right? We learn from the verse that everything is placed in place for you. Who are exactly people? Let's stop the slow, not like wow. Right, so if you work in a production facility, you will appreciate for house, everything is placed in place for whatever. That's not to see the side of the mark. Then I know exactly where is what you can see there. And even while feeding the poor, taking feeding the poor, and at the same time taking the regular Islam, it is possible to do it. And then the reality at the same time, you make that projection to be allowed the way for us. Now, the just time to make help so I'm taking the call and doing the interview at the same time, and at the same time, someone says, well, I'm saying the call. Let's stop here. Why we need all of this? And we can do this for other 2 years, 3 years, so that we can buy and use it. Oh, I didn't do this. Is not this is kind of out. Look, the smaller denominations is the excessive. One, people say somehow there's a problem in the whole top. Or, so, for someone, well, it's for my Yeah. On the days of staying on with your days. We talk we Mina. Mina was very far. No much about that. No, sorry, I don't accept the land style. I don't accept Visa. You must look at it. So you can buy it. Alright, now, good question. How do we get to all this stuff with our others? So, how do I allocate money for the days of remember we did our ratio, right? So based on what Allah has given me, it could be for 3 riyal, it could be 5,000. What needed I did? That the allocation I put for the days of Hajj for me as an individual and for my partner, etc., etc. Understood by what? But we mentioned in one of the earlier classes, each person shall have what? 200 riyal at minimum emergency care, it's more than minimum. I don't see no more. You need to go to see your visitor. Rather than saying that, if you anything low by low, wallah, you really need something. You will not wait to work, not running what the children will say. You have to put it there. Good. So each person that 200 riyals is more knowledge. That's aside from our allocation for the active days of it. Days of that, we need catching the riyals. Also, preferably, don't come and give it a 500 riyal with the other. Right? Not going to be even be selling it in so it's not in let's say. And it's a weekend if you were to find a place in anything else. Because we so you can have small denominations that's accessible for 100 yards to be able to grow, then this is how we have the biggest experiments. What do we get into it? This is the line I'm speaking about. So I'm speaking about something that's you will come to go in day 6 of that. At the end of day 6 or day 5 or night 5, when I look in my bed and check you, the 500 reality. What are the words? I didn't even do what with this money? It's still there. Now, in the last 24 hours of that, they still got cash, dough, money, around, and still, and starting also. Throughout the Hajj, the most part, for am I thinking food, 500 riyals, I can get it back for the watch. Next time. You explain the Hajj, now spend your Hajj, spend it on the death. Don't buy drinks of water. As an example, give me a date. Put it in the middle of the road like this. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's it. So let's just let the game on the side. Please. Because if not, let's say this having a little baby notes in the arm, so I'm taking the side. That's my sleep. Second for the start and the sleep. You get it. So those were very important. The only thing that's from your department of mind, you become Italian. Then so we are doing Umrah. I have to see three essentials, not separated from me, to the extent that even when I sleep, the sleep is around my neck. How often if I have to wake up in the bath? Understand? The sleep is loosely around my neck because I think it can make. No, that's all okay. Maybe the sleep was very far. And all of a sudden people like to hear it fail. No, wow, the nurse says I can see what you watching. Good, so what's in my day back? Day back, we will read back throughout Hajj a few times. Based on what the day requires. Good. But just as an example now, it's in my day back, I have at this stage already I have learned Salah. Good. Because we saw there were 20,000 prayers and days. Salah use the money. I don't know there. It's an umbrella for the people. So you need to think like that, not just for the days of that. Every day in the day. What was the last week we had in the week? Visiting my beloved Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. What was the last video we had?
Then the relation block. Every given that. Where do I have provision for this? In my day bag. Not just for the 6 days of Hajj, you can write in that. And when it rains, say, there's some level of flashlight. Why? Because the drainage, mashallah, I grew up in Saudi Arabia. The drainage in Saudi Arabia is not like the drainage in South Africa or anywhere else in the world. It's because it's not a place that historically has experienced you speak about global warming, climate changes, globally, etc. etc. So things are changing somewhat. But they didn't yet dig up all the roads and install more drainage. Follow? So I want we could create a clinic like that. I have a couple of sections of dehydrated in my that. We're talking now specifically more to the days of Hajj. Where is it in my data? Is it in my which cabinet states and they because I could be anywhere on the road and then mashallah someone looks like they do, so you just need to get some water, that's what you know. Okay, then my clinic box comes with for some days for the software side. These were actually, I didn't plan to this knowledge of really trying to specify as here, trials of issues. There's not only before you try to dua, questions like you know, certain. You can do and then just a couple of seconds. So dua is next. And not sticky stuff. Like you take all those toppings and the cheese, mashallah. Your bed looks like, your kids' bed, if you unpack after 3 weeks of school, all the sweetness, no, you don't want that kind of scenario, right? Okay. I thought that it's about this, but the time we have look at one. It may not be the date that this one, but because of the size of it, how to unlock or date that will be available. What is anyone? If I can give out prices, I don't know. No. Disposable reason. Right, guys. Game changer of no. When you are in Medina to Munawwara, you're going to go to 5 years old. And you will buy disposable reasons. When? Never make a mistake. You should not say anything. When you are in Medina to Munawwara, in that way of your journey, you will buy disposable reasons. Why? When you come to market in Corona close to Hajj season, these are not sold on the open market. Obviously, the Ministry of Health doesn't want people just randomly standing on the side of the road and see themselves in the park. They want to be really going to bar or something. For the reasons, right? But we show you how we can still comply. What's your? Does it take a lot of this? No. It's in my data when I'm going to Mina. Why? Because like my screen bag, subhanAllah, will never be separated from it. Similarly, I'm not going to put my data in the bathroom. I'm not going to take my screen in the bathroom. That's how important why I pack. Remember, we teach short material. So if you're writing down, you start A, B, C, then you haven't managed to grasp it. The most important critical items artifacts in the sleep, never separated from them. Second tier, in the data. So, maybe I'm the type of person who said like, I'm going to not be this type of type. I'm going to forego using the chemicals, etc., etc. I'm going to go on a wide temperature. Then that person will react this way and say, in the sleep because it's a high priority, right? So you may have this analog in the data. From the beginning, because what happens if something happens and I don't get back in the using my PPA? No one's left in the well, try this scenario. Oh, that's about what the data is. Nothing there. It's going to be full of what? Full of what? Full of what? MashaAllah. Why is that? Because Zamzam is not available to you or the patient. Regular drinking water is available to church, but Zamzam is not available to you in Mina, in Muzdalifah, in Arafah. There's no Zamzam in the spaces. So if Zamzam has the fada'il of the virtue that Zamzam has, as we all know, and you feel running as we said Zamzam on tap, what happens? In our days in the Ziyarat, first December of the year, we come in Wednesday, finally, we will make sure put my last in the Haram during those days. Further there, for one or two extra water bottles, put it in my baby, come back to the room. The stuff that's in my bag, that Zamzam, don't consume. Why? Because that Zamzam only isn't there. Get it? So it's just a certain 100% not wrong. Not because it's Zamzam cancer, there's water cancer, but there's no limit. That means, well, 1.5 to 2 liters, I don't think you should go bigger than 3.5 liters, but that means you need a bigger than those other than actually 1 day to sleep in that way or 1.5 to 2 liters. This is that, right? So, do you think 2 liters will last you 2 days? 2 liters will last you 2 days or 8 hours? No. Huh? So now what happens here? Typically, through day one, when I get to halfway, okay, I use regular water. Not still as a command, if please when I come to the house after Hajj, you need that. No one will get food concentrate stuff. Okay, good. So now that's the thing. When was I able to replenish my bladder with Zamzam? When I go to the house with the water second. If you're a little bit confused, I appreciate it. No problem. It's your first Hajj. It makes sense to you. Remember today, inshallah, we're targeting to do day one, day of the inshallah. Right? In Mina, in day 10, Arafat thousand nights. That's our target. We haven't even made it shown you what's in our way. We will still go to the but okay. What now, the key for us in terms of our priority is what one knows easily accessible. Is a plastic easily accessible? Yes, because now it's a very vision and there's time that doesn't become next to know. Now, as I do my day the next time, this is why this don't work. Because that's assuming what I have to have everything on me. I'm not saying it must be detailed and article. No, I'm not saying it must be detailed and article. Rather, it's smart enough to realize that those things are available from others. So rather, let me free up space in my life to take what others are not likely to get. We use a more practical, tangible example. Do you think I carry a straight piece of paper? No. Because every second brother has a straight piece. So if I use the straight piece of the house, not I don't use the haram yet. Because mashallah, you are and your spouse are not good, then at least they will straight piece of the haram. Certainly, you require, can I borrow someone's umbrella? Everyone requires their own umbrella. Can I borrow someone's razor? No. That's what the Ministry of Health are trying to circumvent. So it's that approach you take in your multifaceted. You cannot carry something that every other person has, it's easily accessible. Not really accessible. Last chronic medication doesn't story hard. To some of us in diabetes, naturally you need to carry over things for whatever else that's refrigerated. So we can discuss those how you go about that, how you make the use of the medication, how you use the refrigeration in Mina, etc. to be able to store. So all of those things need to see. Alright, so now grossly exaggerated. I walk into Mina with my cabinet. Okay, let's find that now cabinet. That was do you see what kind of even in Mina, mashallah, take the side, you think I'm not going to swap this way. You swap this based on the close of talents. Alright, okay, based on time, I didn't bring the other day. I'm going to bring that as a bonus. And we bring that in our next class. Once you plan the days of time out, then you will see kind of this today that you have a so this was the high stuff. And all your shopping in the in the city. You didn't know how much. Don't say it's literally like Look at it from this perspective, so whether you stay in casino or whether you full state, yes, I pronounce it from the double hotel state, whether you move from Makkah only to pay 1.5 to 3 times the price of a Hajj, just to stay in Makkah in the whole Hajj, right? Think about it traveling to any place out of your home, where you're taking accommodation. So let's say you went on holiday, this is a location, maybe Zanzibar. Do you think your hair was really going to work with you? You survive blue ways super light, maybe kind of make it no, it's saying no, it's saving it. Whether in Makkah or in Giza or any other sort of marketing program, it's a little bit away from the up. Taking no accommodation. I'm going on a couple of days and job. But my accommodation is my accommodation. It's not a stay. Good for all the players. Good question. When you are here with the Zanzibar, you have conversation about something you feel from my life. You do. Okay. When you say, oh, you go to you go on, no, ask. And it's the same thing about you. Let's speak about the engineer. What is that? Somewhere. Where's the balance? Well, you didn't land out in the on the backside, right? Not literally not. Okay, so you have lost out and say, I don't know how much you will know about whatever you are seeking how you will. Zero. The second time optional potency. So, nothing. Don't if you set this class and you think this is then anything from how to manage time, how to manage finances, how to make this out of the house, what to do with the goal, then people can take it. Once you start looking towards similarly for but once that this is so okay, that takes many things to be considered that other of the company. So don't worry about the money. Now, I say what they have to say, and my brain is like, no, much of it that. Next time you approach it, that's also part of a life skill we teach you. You don't know. Follow? So you must use. Just so you don't accept. Accept it in the bar. Good. As David asked me, and inshallah, I'll give you the writing very important. As David asked me when I walked in this morning, is that you? I can go for that. And also that's nice about the and go for a while. Both. What do you do? I can go on the shop. And I see, I think some people have, and we mentioned the example of what we used to get is like cheaper. I'm not, some hatch, what the checklist is. What? 5, 6 town hatch with the checklist is. There is one more taking that, also on the side. I don't know, it's not, but I want to go, and so it's what you know what to do. I'm talking about, you know, and so you can go down to that level. If you are smart about the consequences, you know, right now, you say, if I'm not taking the cabin bag, they now have got this day bag, and the sling bag, and the backpack. Now, what do this? How can I all of this up in here? Okay, you know everything. I can fold up the day bag into the soil. Okay, or I can attach the day bag to the soil. Why? Because some of these. What do they call this? Anyone else? Rows. Both rows. Okay, that's the start to see again. So I will somehow attach the data to the set. I know everyone's going to hear on the freaking. But I am walking 10 kilometers to come protect my baby in the sun. You are. So the laugh is in you, the joke is in you, the rest of your heart. You need to walk from the chip. If you feel this, I don't know what sharing with you that this that came out of something and sharing this for the first time. Let's say more one of the post on our team chat this morning was this reminds me of the community in class. There was this space to slip on these notes. I think I reference to some way class of Anwar in Adam, so the people for the resides in the building in our home in the city of Hajj. We don't want to see the knowledge of it. How do you do this with that? How do you want? You say more to what the change does. So I don't have to give you long reading lectures, encouragement, you must do so much of virtual. So we love all of this. Okay, what's the capacity of the sled to be? You want tips in terms of how you get a bag. So in terms of how you get a backpack that you will use on Hajj, max capacity. You take what's 20 kilos. That's all. Anyone done a monthly hike? What's the 16? How do you test? You can't sustain it when you're small or for a monthly. What do you think? Good. It's fine. But also there's no compartmentalization because the things you like. Because the Islam is interconnected over. So that's so now, let's say for instance I don't have a carbon myself, I'm able to catch the lead back onto the what I'm going to do down there, keep the microphone down now. How can we get everything for this first, because let's say we go back. This one has a day back. Please, I'm able to catch it in the back way. Is this lighter or that one lighter? Actually, the day back is lighter. This is just literally for about 5 minutes walk. And then I'm actually going to show you pictures in the next class. It will be like, yeah, it's easy to walk around. I'll show you pictures of me walking around. Naturally, you make sure it's on the right side, all of that. And is this bag going to fall off? No, it's not going to fall off. Good. I walk into Mina. Now, when I walk into Mina, what happens? In terms of luggage, sleep on me all the time, take back on my mattress, big bag, stay in Mina. We're going to do the big bag, right? Because we said now what happens? I packed for Hajj till the end. I'm only going back to Azizia where my luggage and my whole clothing is when Hajj is over. Right, let's just dispense of that. Now the valuables that you need to Azizia to worry about the safety factor, you would most likely end up with. But number one. So let's say for instance, I bought the black 500 riyal Al-Fajr watch. Inshallah, the next Allah says it, right? So I bought that watch, and I'm not wearing that watch on the day. Another tamru with regards to all the gear you take on Hajj. Everything that I carry with me out of my room, going to Mina for the 6 days of Hajj, I must be prepared to lose. If I'm not prepared to lose it, don't take it. What's the latest Samsung phone? S25. My 30K S25 Galaxy, whatever, plus, Pro Max, whatever, take all the appellations there. If I'm not prepared to lose it, don't take it. Go get you one Oppo. Understand? Smartphone just to be able to get you through. Similarly, subhanAllah, iPhone, I think 15, 16. You know, we are a little bit outdated. Yeah, so subhanAllah, if I'm not prepared to lose it, I don't take it with me on Hajj. This would now make you appreciate the answer I gave when someone asked the question, do I take my physical Quran with me on Hajj? The same Quran that I've been reading from the time I learned how to read Quran, the same Quran in which I ate, the same Quran, subhanAllah, that I walked out of my house is a right, but the Quran box. No one take it with me on Hajj because no prepared to lose. Follow? Oh, so what's in the free bag? That's the stuff. This would actually, at a stage, move to the day bag. What's this? Please use the Actonville term. No, call it a proper thing, guys. Come on. Babies. Baby bags. That's a small Ziploc bag. How many? 10. Tables. What was our approach when we started and we did time, etc.? We said that in terms of our approach to our Hajj, we think 3, 4, 5, 6 steps in advance. So I can't be hands up. So already when I packed my bag, when did I pack this bag? We'll tell you on Wednesday. I didn't pack it in the morning of leaving. Understand? We'll tell you when this bag needs to be packed. Packed, check, double check, whatever else. Now we check. Right, so I got my 10 bag bags. I still got some leftover ammunition from the previous trip here. Okay, so I have some Ziploc bags, 10 packets. You don't get bags, it's in most 5 1. Just believe. No. Giving my age away these days, man. Okay, so you get the idea. Remember? Functionality. Don't ask me what brand, blah, 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 all of that. Okay, cool. Internal compartment, mashallah, more of these. I told you about the clothes. 2 clothes, 2 raisins, 2 almonds. Best potion for your throat. Right? But I mean, if you got the clothes, you got it covered. Fine. Now, the uncorrected behind all this. Let's first one I want to highlight is very extreme. I'll share it with you again. Good. I'm going to have naturally more snacks in my bag. What informs how much of snacks I take? 7-week consumption. Otherwise, I'm packing too much. I know maybe I need 1 snack mix every 2 days or every 18 hours. You would know that it's different for each of us. Understand? So I've got for day 1 way, day pack, and day 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 way in the day pack. Follow? Good. Toiletries, cosmetics. What do you would say? Perfumed and unperfumed. Right? Okay. Don't be like most everything must be in plastic. And the plastic must also be in plastic. It's everything Ziploc and the Ziploc in another Ziploc. That kind of story. Like your television remote at home in the days of your grand. Yeah, so you don't have to like go to that level. But somewhat somehow separated the perfumed and the unperfumed. So what's in there? Toothbrush, toothpaste, subhanAllah, call it the equivalent of South African Mitchell, speed stick, shampoo, tweezer, small scissors, razor. Right, so you get the idea. Whatever I'm doing. Okay. Yes. So brothers, we have mentioned this when we spoke about here for hashtag. For Mina, maybe I didn't. For Mina, you can't walk around in your boxes. in your room with your spouse, it's no problem. So, I mean, we have a pair of pants that somewhat shows some level of haya and modesty, whether I'm walking outside in the walkway or whether I'm in the tent. When I'm out of the house, love it. So, but one of those. Then two t-shirts, I only pack one in here. But preferably, subhanAllah, the ones that are, as I mentioned, more the athletic gear, so breathable, easy to wash, drop and dry, all of that stuff. You're going to ask what brand. But the price, total sports, whatever works for you. I know you go to the sport Nike and if you mind. What color? Light colors. Good. Sisters, by extension now, when you think about inner and clothing, sports range, right? So no metal straps, crossbars, all of that. Right? So something that's relatively firm, but also made more for kind of outdoor sporting use, right? You'll deep dive into that with Hajj and Hajj, inshallah. Cool. I've got one of those. Do you see how I'm unpacking it? Did I fold it? We made the the whole bag to find something. That's my coat, that's my t-shirt, that's my pants. You know what I'm saying? Pull it out. Right. In terms of choice of clothes, we even go to this level. So, mashallah, two of our brothers, and I'll pick on them a little bit, they generally wear pajamas every time they go to the masjid, right? What type of clothes is this? No collar. What thing? No, mashallah, sounding Chinese collar, hard, you know? So, these kind of clothes, right? If you get this in long sleeve, shall buy me a few. You don't generally, right? What is this? Just FYI. What is this in Arab culture? Pajamas. Don't go to the haram or Jum'ah wearing this. Because then they're like, Allah says, take to beauty and adornment at every place of salah. Even on Jum'ah, you come in your pajamas. You wear it because it's comfortable. But just to appreciate if you ever in your life are in the Arab world, these are pajamas. Fine. Even the Arabs wear it from the days of what? Practical. It's hard. Perspire a lot, can't have a collar, etc. etc. Yeah, on the day of Eid, after they come out of the haram, you see their parents in Putras or whatever else. But in order to be able to have that with the starch, eagle, and all of that, they all carry cabin bags and they have accommodation for it. We don't. Right? So I got two thoughts, max. One thought sufficient. Will my thought be smelly? No, wrong. Because the only time I wear the thought is when I'm making salah. The rest of the time, I'm covered, alhamdulillah, I have a t-shirt that's aerated somewhat, whatever else. Good. Sisters naturally, hijab, all of that at any given time. Alright? But like two abayas, next. What type of abayas? The ones that I can go there in the wudu, I can rinse them, ring them, and 10 minutes later, dry. Not fancy diamantes, big whooshy emblem there, the back, no, those ones are not good. You know, normally the steam cleaner. Now I'm going to ask them, please take out all your cell phones from child because I need to use my steam cleaner to hang my door, my abaya, right? And then, subhanAllah, we're going to go Rambo on Hajj brothers. Pay off long short. Preferably below the knee. Why is it preferably below the knee? In the Ahnaf, it has to be below the knee. And the Shawafi, above the knee is fine. But do I want, as someone who follows Shafi fit as an example, do I want to subject myself to every other man looking at me and thinking, this guy shouldn't see this? I'm compliant if I wear something above my knees, but I'm also cognizant as Habibuna Mustafa Muhammad would always be of the perception of hadith. So when you heard me wear a slightly longer short, or am I going to be like, hey, I'm Shafi, I look you what you think? I'm using that as one example, but subhanAllah, it goes for the etiquette of Hajj throughout time. Understand? So longer. Which means what? If all of a sudden, even if I'm wearing shorts and I decide I need to use the bathroom now, then I'm going to look for the long pants. It's fine. Put my sandals on. Go to the bathroom. If I walk past sisters or past the buffet point or anything, is it an issue? No, it's not an issue because I'm modest. Follow? Now, let's answer the question. Are there hooks behind the doors in Mina? Do you need a hook? Sisters, yes, you need a hook. Can you not just throw your clothing over the door? Got it. Why? No, the door will relax the door. So over the top of the door, it's like a cubicle door. Follow the imagine, what can I use as a prop? No, it's not a door like that. No, it's not a steel door like this. Practical, man. How do I go as a male or female to shower, whether in Mina, Muzdalifah, and Arafah? I would have one more. This is a very small one, but I'm sure if I scratch hard enough, someone will find ways of not to. Maybe I have to pick it out before it comes out. Let's check the side. There we go. Check out. You see this guy? I put everything I need to go. Male or female? I put everything I need to go and shower. Maybe take ghusl in here. How do I pack it? I know I'm going to leave my French outer clothing down. And my inner clothing first. Understand? And of course, make it toiletries on the top. Right. Do I need a hook? No. There's a latch, there's a door handle. I simply go and I tie this over the door handle. Will my clothing get wet? No, it's a terrace. It's not going to get wet, it's plastic. They selling you all the stuff on Instagram and TikTok, mashallah. It's Muslim capitalism. You don't need it. It's going to lead you to taking the cabin bed. Stainless steel hook. Yeah, you're spending 6 months there, Nina. You're spending less than 6 days. All must be stainless steel. Most instances now, mashallah, the hook, because actually they don't come from the perspective of design. As we study material science, it's not practical, it's not fit for purpose. It's a round hook on a square hook. Now the thing's jiggling there, it's like, oh, so Allah, you will have this smooth, the main thing with Chegas, most probably was operating with Chegas very far. I didn't check, but I'm just saying, right? So subhanAllah, very practical. You want this and that, all extra weight that you carry. Now I also want to bring to your attention something else. The people who bring the hooks and everything else, do they come out of ihram in Mina? I told you about 2 approaches. Answer. What are they doing? They're going back to the city to use the shower. Why do you need the You understand how they're making a monkey out of you? Forgive my French. They're selling you all the stuff, but in the Hajj of the is taking you back to a city to cover all of this. To the extent, and this is where subhanAllah you run the risk of losing your Hajj. Once you go to Azizia, ask those who made Hajj, what's the turnaround time for people coming back to Mina? There ain't no turnaround time. It's the exception for people to come back to Mina. It's the rule, the norm for them to stay in Azizia. Because the preaching temples are there. So you are mitigating against what we said. SubhanAllah, encouraging your conviction and don't be peer pressure. The moment you see, no, I'm just going to go and shower in Mina, and then inshallah, we come back to in Azizia, and then we'll come back to the ain't coming back to Mina. You lose hours, valuable hours on it. So, mashallah, check us, you shut. Good. Any questions around any other gear that you need?
Agents might be possible.
Love, they're not going to give you the side. This is, you know what I'm saying? This is like not the Mercedes, this is the Maybach. This is a Toyota backpack. Mashallah, let's talk about features of this. So don't go and spend on one like this if you don't already have one. What am I saying? But then how do I get it? Check in your circle, someone does hiking, understand trail running, blah, blah, blah. So people have gear. They'll be more than willing to take your du'as or to secure your du'as. Understand? Right. So if we look at this, subhanAllah, there's the camera right there. What do you see here? So remember, I'm wearing ihram, right? It's towel. This is breathable. Number 1. Number 2, when you choose the backpack, there you go. You thought when you saw these straps on your kids' school bag that this was just them so that it doesn't fray at the end. No, this actually has a purpose. So when you pack your bag, your backpack, then you use this with your thumbs to alleviate the pressure on your upper back. Go and check, mashallah, the backpacks that you got at home. The ones that the Kermo, who had the Kermo, the Polo GTI of the schooling days. Yeah, most probably has one of these. So that's what this strap is for. So functionality, right? Like I said, don't go and buy if you're not planning to use. If you're planning to use after that for hiking, whatever else, or repurpose as a durable school bag for the next couple of years for your child, eventually you need to consult them on color and stuff because you go and buy, get over in and later, you know, I want chocolate feet, it's a story, right? Particularly, I chose the green because the green goes with the rest of my gear. So you know, like Rahman says, if you find something of this, there's going to be green. Good. Waist strap, which is naturally adjustable. I don't want to show you how big the stomach is. You can just imagine, right? So waist strap, we have and some of them would have little pockets like the day back has, just so you can drop in a couple of sweeties or whatever else. All right. So those would be the main functionality. If you're planning on getting something like this, what we say, be prepared for any circumstances. Full rain cover. Good. So I just stop on the side of the road, drop the rain cover over the thing. The only thing that's going to get a little bit wet is maybe subhanAllah. I would highly encourage you from the perspective of your day packs throughout your trip to get this disposable raincoats. Like 10, 15, 20 rain. Right, so if you get 2 of those, you kind of cover for the trip. Maybe if it rains, you use one and to fold it is normally a little bit of a story. If I stack it in my bag, days of Hajj, I got a fresh one that's there, and that comes with me naturally for brothers when you need haram. Then, as was mentioned, if it's not a storm, then you shouldn't be wearing a couple of drops. Right? If you're in the state of ihram, you put the thing on, mashallah. What would double up in the instance of you not having a disposable raincoat? Someone said, you love me on Hajj. The 1 year in Mina, day 1, it rained so much. If Arafah was not the next day, I promise you most people would have prepared. Now the sister's tent starts leaking. So which sister is going to climb and fix those in the tent? No, they call Abdurrahman, come here to fix the leaks in the tent. Okay, sisters, dress properly, whatever else. Now I'm looking at the Imam, the Sheikh, one of my teachers, mashallah, still alive today, may Allah grant him a long life. Really one of the authorities on Hajj in the English-speaking world, in the Urdu-speaking world, globally. Is the eldest graduate from Nazatul Ulama who resides in South Africa. Anyone know Allah Yarhamu Ihsan Hendricks? Ihsan Hendricks studied at Nazatul Ulama. This was someone who studied at Nazatul Ulama years before Ihsan. He lived in the house of Ma'abul Hassan Ali Nadwi. There's someone who was saved from a small hall in the teacher's house. They grew up with him. So I benefited a lot, subhanAllah, from him in terms of not just Hajj, but beyond that by traveling with him. So I'm like, oh, he looked at me, like, bring the bag here, cut 2 arms, go, fix the leaks now. Understand? Now, brothers, don't go, the first thing you start raining, you go to the kitchen area, give me good base to start raining out everyone. Understand? To the extent necessary. Okay. So those were, subhanAllah, some of the main salient features. I said I will keep part of the Maybach edition for the end. Right, if you have. This you as a normal Hajj, you won't do. But if you're going to be the Hajj who's going to walk to Azizia to take a shower and come back every day, because that's what some crazy people do. Every day they walk 3.5 days to go and use a brick and mortar toilet and shower, and then they walk 3.5 days back. Before they walk, the first day on the return day, what do you think? The clothes are soaked in perspiration already. So like it's almost as if I want to stand there in the road and say, I don't know how many armbands you got, but go and shower again because you wet and smelly. Go back. Crazy. And because you're just not practical. This is something that we would use as gear amongst some of the Udam. Reason being, I got my sling bag, I've got my day bag with 1.5 liters of water at any given time, Zamzam or not.
but I will also maybe support something like this. Why? I've got 5 liter capacity on this running base, which means I encounter some hard on the road and it's an elderly person or they're dehydrating or whatever else, and I think I can trust them enough to dispense of a 250 liter bottle. I'm going to keep this with you. Follow? Does everyone carry this? The point I made earlier. Everyone carries a spare haram and a this and a that and a that. But I would choose to give priority in my space to something that others are not likely to carry, that I know will add great value to their work. Make sense? Okay, there's one thing at the bottom of the deck that I can share. You can use it to exhibit and display 2 aspects, one for the sisters and similarly one for the brothers. I trust the shoes that I designed, right? I trust it 100% confident. But I know that some of you will, not you, others, will not make smart decisions in terms of everything. So what I said, give credits to and priority and preference to anything you get, others don't have, but you know will get tremendous value. We walk in this happened a few times. So the next one of my good friends is a consultant from McKinsey. Anyone with a consultant will know what McKinsey represents. And we walk in Hajj in sandal boots. I'm not talking about the Mina by the cat going to buy donuts. No, I'm talking walking at Mina to Arafah and the brother sandal legs. So then I told him, fine, you walk. He's like, oh, no, still walking back. I'm like, I'll buy a sandal down the road, 5 minutes. So then we got a little bit smart, mashallah. We got ourselves a pair of white Ipanimas, made a couple of Hajj already. The same set, made a couple of Hajj already. White one because the haram is like white for males. Kind of thing. Don't have to, we discussed in the haram. Space set of sandals. Illustration for the sisters, I have one pair of footwear that allows me to walk comfortably, discover and support it. And I have one pair of sandals to be able to go to and take will do it. Okay, what did they tell me? All the sisters can check. I'm not going to check. Make sure it has a very thick sole because there's water on the floor. Yeah, what you're going to wear high heels. How think you're going to make yourself? Understand? Like you can't wear platforms to go to the bathroom. So it's going to be a sole. You can see this one is not so thin. It's also not so thick. Right? But when you get to the bathroom, what's the benefit of using the bathroom? I'll show you pictures just now. How do you go about using the bathroom? When you come there, you give yourself tama'nina. What's tama'nina? Contentment. The moment you get to the cubicle, you take the hose and you wash the place. Now, what do you know in your mind? This is water. It is not urine. As opposed to, then you're not sure, is it water, is it urine? You have wahan, you have doubt, understand? You have uncertainty. You're not clear in your mind when you make it. I'm not sure if it was water, if it was urine. I'm not sure if I was. Can you make it like this? No, you can't. So remove all of those things that would grant you doubt in terms of the approach that you think, that you take, and you won't have any issues. We are called Inna Lillahi wa Inna Ilayhi Raji'un. 10:23. We didn't even go to Mina yet. Let's unpack over there. Fine. Do you want to take a 6-minute break? We start at 10:30. Good. Fine. You want to break? Oh.